Champions.
And we are back. Great breakdown there by the commissioner, Nate Nanzer. And we got something new here in Stage 2 at the very end for the Stage 2 playoffs. We're moving the playoffs to Sunday. An extra day of action for you right here in the Overwatch League. I'm Puckett. I got the whole desk back. We got Zoe alongside Crumbs and Bren. And we've got a good finish here. We're going to see Shanghai Dragons going up against the Gladiators. And this is a matchup backstage we're all saying is surprisingly underhyped. You guys are pumped for it today, Crumbs.
Yeah, well, I've actually been looking forward to this match all day. I hope because last time I highlighted the Shanghai Dragons and I told them, I was like, guys, listen to my advice. I put it on Twitter. I think you can get better. Somebody translate it. I think if they take that piece of, that little nugget of knowledge, they'd be...
Do you speak Mandarin, Crumbs?
No, it was pure English.
Okay, never mind.
We'll get that translated for you. I have a feeling it had something to do with the payload. We'll talk about that in just a minute. But first, we got to meet our teams. Are you guys ready? Make some noise for our team from Los Angeles. Give it up. It's the Gladiators. Surefour leading the charge. Asher right behind him, and as we take a look at this squad, we gotta hit their record. It was up and down in the first week. They got swept by Seoul Dynasty, but were able to get the win over San Francisco. Excuse me. It was Dallas that they fell to. So let's talk about the ups and downs here. Playing Dallas, playing Shock. What were the weaknesses? What were the strengths of this squad, Brent?
So, again, there's a bit of mis-synergy between the main tank, Fisher, who they've just brought in. By the way, what a beast of a player, right? This main tank guy. They brought him in to sort of solve these tank problems they've got, but obviously there's going to be a few communication hitches here and there. However, I mean, I'm liking what I'm seeing from this Gladiator squad coming into this. These guys have been improving steadily, and I'm sure as time goes on now, with this new main tank in the role, things are going to be looking a lot better for him.
Fisher definitely earning a lot of new fans, and he was doing an AMA this weekend.
He was. A lot of funny answers, so head over to Reddit and actually check it out. And since you just talked about the communication, he actually did mention when asked what he brings to the team that he's not just an awesome tank, but he can also bring leadership as soon as his English gets better. So I'm looking forward to that.
Looking forward to the evolution of the Gladiators. That is a look at their starting six today, but now it's time to find out who are they playing against as we give it up for the Shanghai Dragons. The Dragons are coming out still winless, but this squad showed us their strongest form so far in the match against the Valiant on Saturday. Shockingly close. In fact, for a while there, we thought that the Dragons could take it to a Game 5.
Yeah, I'm super excited to watch the Shanghai Dragons play today, and I mean, I'm genuinely excited because they've just been steadily improving as time has gone on. And if you are having a acute eye, you might have noticed as well that Shanghai Dragons are going to be rolling out here with 3 tanks in the lineup. Now, they've done this before when they were playing on Volskaya previously, and what they're going to be running is Zushu on the Sombra, as opposed to they're going to be running the single support Sombra strategy alongside their 2 main tanks.
So no Diva for Shishu. You expect Sombra for
It'll be
Volskaya.
MG on the Diva, but Zushu will be on the Sombra. So they're still going to play Diva, but
Okay, all right.
more additions on top.
We'll get her into the mix. When you're looking at this Dragon squad, Crumbs, you said they have a chance today. Who's got to carry the most weight?
It's honestly all of them. It's not even an individual player. They just have to go back to the basics. Think of how objectives work, how you want to be playing the payload. And one of the issues that we even highlighted of other teams, it's that resource management. Does it take 5 people to take down 1 member? No. You split it off into 2 and you almost go with like a man-on-man coverage. If you even try that route, I think that might be just what the Dragons need to get a footing here.
I just kind of love, if you're looking at the team from stage 1 to right now, how they evolved. At the beginning, they were just trying to, you know, somehow even be able to play together as a team. And now they're heading into matches with set strategies for their opponents. So they're not just focusing on themselves. They actually go out of the way to prepare specific things for their opponents. Like in this match, when I talked to the team asking, where is your focus going to be at? And they said, it's all about Fisher. It's all about our backline staying alive and putting up with that pressure Fisher puts onto them.
Dealing with Fisher is not an easy thing to do for any team. Bren, that of course has to be a big part of the game plan for the Shanghai Dragons. But what other adjustments do we need to see for this squad to get their first win?
So I think you can definitely prioritize some of the supports, I guess. You might have a hard time trying to get a kill into Big Goose, but Shanghai Dragons, if they just play to what their strengths are, which is going to be mainly Undead and Deer popping off as well. Crumbs, you're looking at me in disdain once again. Never a good sign.
All day,
Never a
baby.
good sign when I start making a
Keep
point
it
and
coming.
Crumbs slowly turns to me like this. What do you want?
Keep going.
What do you
keep
want?
Going. Say it.
Okay, well, I personally believe that Shanghai Dragons, with the individual skill they've got of Undead and Deer, if they have a game plan that's focusing Fisher coming into this match, I think they've got a decent shot here against LA Gladiators. I'm going to say.
Wait, are you wearing your best Gladiator shirt and you're rooting for the Shanghai
I mean, I don't have a
Dragons?
Gladiators jersey under here. I mean, it's
Yeah,
what
but
do you
okay,
expect?
we've said that every time, though. I think that the Shanghai Dragons just need to put a performance beyond what we've seen so far, obviously, because we haven't seen them come up with a win
Today is
yet.
the
So
day, mate.
Today
Today
could be
is
the
the
day, but
day.
like, it's not going to be a hand-me-down. You know, it's not based off the Gladiators underperforming or having some sort of mismatch of synergy with Fissure. It's going to have to be from them just having superior teamwork and actually taking the win for themselves. Otherwise, it's not barely even a win. Taking a scraps like that, no, they have to.
All right.
All right,
Hard work.
we've got the theories out here. Let's get the predictions, guys. Let's start here with you, Crumb.
Gladiators.
How do you see it playing out, though? Is
Okay.
it Gladiators starting off and just running away
Okay.
with this series?
Yeah.
That's how
Love the insight.
No,
That was great.
okay, they have Fisher and Asher. Like, what Fisher was doing last time was just so incredible, dealing with the backline, that I think that the Shanghai Dragons might not be prepared for that just yet. However, if their map pool favors them to go into quad tank all the time, they might be able to kill Fisher a couple times.
Bren, you've been arguing with Crumbs all day. You want to do it again?
Yo, I'm going with Shanghai Dragons for this. I'm actually going to be predicting Shanghai Dragons for this match. Believe it or not, right? I think they can bring it out. They've got the DPS duo of both Undead and Deer. They've got the quad tank strats that they've shown that they're very capable of. They've shown a decent Sombra as well. We're going into Volskaya. Come on, don't neglect this, Crumbs, man.
I'm not
this
neglecting
this
it.
is Shanghai's chance to shine.
I-
I personally believe that they're going to be taking
If
the match
they pull
today.
it off like that, they can have it. They can earn the win with the Sombra play. By all means, I'm not a gatekeeper of wins. I'm just sitting here trying to call flip a coin.
Where were you when the Dragons were unleashed? A very famous quote from a young Alberto Crumbs. That is going to do it for our pre-match segment. We got Brent going with the Dragons. We got Crumbs going with the Gladiators. It's time to find out as this one kicks off. We got Monty and Doa backstage on the mic.
Oh man, Puckett, that dust got a little bit spicy there, didn't it?
I
man?
like my desk spicy, Doa.
Yeah.
You may know that about me.
Sure, yeah, well, everything spicy is a little bit better. You need that spice in life, right? So, thank you, Crumbs and Brent and Zoe, for bringing the spice.
That's right.
There you go. Well, guys, LA Gladiators taking on the Shanghai Dragons, and you know, it is going to be an interesting one, right? Because the Gladiators in a position where they haven't looked that great, but then they picked up Fissure, and this guy is so gifted mechanically on the Winston that he's been able to carry them through a lot of fights in a lot of situations that they wouldn't have won otherwise. That said, the team coordination with the new player is certainly lacking a bit. So if they can kind of bring that in a bit more, I agree, they shouldn't have any problem beating Shanghai. But on the Shanghai side, you do have that DPS pair of Undead and Dia, and maybe if the rest of it starts to come together a little bit more, maybe this is the meta where they can finally pick up a win. Maybe,
Yeah.
maybe today is the day.
Maybe today is the day when the
Who knows?
Dragons were unleashed, and if that's going to happen, I do think that they need to focus on it, taking out some of the supports, especially Shaz, who has been relatively unprotected, at least in the Gladiators' first week of play.
Very
We'll
true.
see if they've tightened that up when it comes to positioning, because Fissure, he loves to play aggressively and loves to go in, but that did
Yeah.
open up some opportunities to get kills on the supports.
Yeah, I feel like they did a little bit in their Dallas match. They started protecting Shaz a bit better, but it needs to improve a bit more.
What I really like about the changeover from Fissure is that the synergy between Surefour and Fissure already looks very strong. Surefour's been taking a lot of long flanks around, and he's been coordinating with his main tank, so they've been able to get some impressive picks right at the start of these engagements, especially when they're on the attack. Surefour will sneak around, and he will call at the right time. Fissure responds immediately, and they just leap onto a target. So it's been fun to watch from the side of the Gladiators. It's mostly been when Surefour has been playing Tracer, and that will not be happening on this map at least because Asher is in the game.
Sure enough. We are about to get started momentarily here. Volskaya Industries, our assault map, will be the first one of this series between the Gladiators and the Dragons. Gladiators on the attack first. Let's see what they can do. Up to Shanghai on the defense. And of course, they've got Shusha on that Sombra. Gonna be going for the health pack hack. Big EMPs on the point.
So the problem here, Doa, is that they don't have the most mobile support on that high ground, not like they have a Mercy or anything,
No.
to move quickly across the point. So having limited healing options if the high ground becomes a problem for them. Instead, it's going to be a standard attack here from the Gladiators. Asher is swinging around the other angle, but everybody going to get on top of the Mega Health back onto the side of the point, deny that healing from Shusha, and make sure that they can take this a little bit easier. Fisher.
Oh, Shusha down. Asher found him in the 1v1.
Oh, that's
really
huge.
big. Yeah, losing that Sombra early hurt Shanghai so much. And can they capitalize on this 6v5 here? They've got control over the health pack room for the moment. They managed to get Roshan very low to start things off, and he hasn't gotten any healing yet. With only one healer, only Lucio on the Shanghai side, it's very difficult for them to keep everybody up. Shanghai just waiting, and oh, Surefour gets undead. Another tough time as Shanghai comes back in again. They get a bit of revenge. They gotta turn this fight around though. Asher, meanwhile, free firing. He's got so much protection from those tanks. Backs up. That's almost 2 ticks already taken for the Gladiators. They do get it, and it looks like this may just be a quick point A on the Shanghai can somehow get people to regroup that pulse bomb. Not doing much for Dia.
Undead actually going to switch to the main now, 4-point B defense, but that defense was very sloppy. Undead did not wait until they could get Shusha back into the mix. Instead, went to the high ground by himself and was easily jumped upon by Fisher. Fisher identified that immediately and just took him out of the engagement. So those positional errors going to be punished actively by the Gladiators. We'll be sure for on the Roadhog now, trying to just mass tank this point.
They've got a lot of ults to work with, man. 5 coming into it, a lot of momentum, Transcendence used right after that EMP. Oh, but there's a double kill for Asher. Again, Gladiators really finding the opportunities here coming in. Undead down, that May did not last long. He was way far forward for some reason. And Gladiators just crushing this fight on the point. Is this it? No, sound barrier coming in from Shanghai. A last gasp for the defense as they try to send in Roshan to do something about it. He's got the Primal Rage. He can buy time for the respawns to come in, but not enough time as the Gladiators take a blazingly fast 2 points here on Volskaya. 5:41 in the time bank.
Surefour was the only Gladiators player who died on that attack. It was 11 eliminations for the Gladiators, 1 for the Shanghai Dragons on that defense. So about as fast and as flawless as you could ask for from the Gladiators.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, it just kind of fell apart from second one here for the Dragons. I mean, Asher looping around the opposite side from the rest of his team, found that kill onto the Sombra. Shusha going down early, and you know, after that, the momentum was just 100% with the Gladiators. It didn't stop until the second point was taken.
I like the patience from the Gladiators, though. They were waiting for that opportunity, waiting for a play to be made before capitalizing on it. Asher delivers, and we are going to see Asher now in the Soldier instead of Surefour, and Surefour moving over to the Sombra.
I think Shanghai needs to jump in one of those giant robots there, man. I think it's time.
It's time
Jump
to
in one of
unleash
those.
the
You're
massive
okay.
robots. I don't understand why nobody ever uses them. Seems like it'd be
Yeah.
pretty easy to capture the point when your fist is the size of the point.
Seriously, yeah, go for it.
Should stop some respawns.
Don't unleash the dragons, unleash the giant robots, man. That's what you need. They're all over the place on Volskaya.
They're just everywhere, but nobody ever takes a spin in one.
Nope.
Tragic.
Not yet.
I don't know why Diva's flying that little robot around when she can have one of those.
Yeah, seriously. Is it too early to start talking about Hero 28?
It's just
Let's get one of those big robots.
robot.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, why not? I'm excited about Brigitte though, man. That's she's so fun.
Yeah, we did have a chance to
Yeah.
play her a little bit before release. I think it's going to be very interesting to see how she affects dive compositions.
Yeah, she's really different from all the other supports in a lot of obvious ways. On the PTR right now though, you can jump on there and play her anytime. That's great. Here we go, Shanghai on the attack, trying to equalize what the Gladiators have done, but it's not gonna be easy. Gladiators with a good round so far. Undead getting boosted up on that Widowmaker. Find some early shots here.
And this is what we've seen for the Dragons in the past. They love damage boosting. The Widowmaker from Undead, it has been successful on a lot of maps, honestly, for them so far. It has been one of their better strategies, just relying on his playmaking ability.
Yeah, you put Dia on the Tracer too and send him off on the flanks, and they've found their most success with that. Speaking of Dia, sneaking up behind Shaz here. You can see him through the wall, or we can, he can't. They're gonna chase him down to the health pack room. Has to back off. Roshan down already. Gladiators taking out that Winston, but one tick taken on the point by Shanghai.
Yeah, they need to play more aggressively right now.
Yeah,
Infrasight
you
is
can't
up,
want that.
and they're a little bit far away, but they're going to find themselves hacked by
Oh,
Sherfor
man.
with an EMP.
Well-
Drops down from over the top.
Surefour doing exactly what Shanghai wanted to do on their defense, man. Got that big EMP off, got the kills to follow it up. That said, Shanghai with one tick on that attack, you really can't be too disappointed about that.
Yeah, Roshan got hacked on the high ground there, so that was the opening that the Gladiators needed to focus him down. So we're gonna pop back over now, try and charge up that EMP a little bit more. Make sure he hacks the mini pack while he's at it. Shanghai reconsidering their approach right now. They're
Oh,
waiting,
Dia.
but they're gonna find Dia on that Tracer.
Yeah, that's right. Dia, though, had the health pack early on. Surefour has to back away, but they do spot that flank, so Dia not going to be as easy for him.
I mean,
Coming in
every
cause
moment they wait, though, is more time for Surefour just to pile on and try and get this EMP operational.
Yeah, didn't get that hack off, and here
Nano
comes Fisher with
boost.
the nano boost. Oh, Undead in a lot of trouble. He's going to go down. Everybody, in fact, getting stomped flat by the Raging Ape, and Fissure even gets out with his life. Gladiators now a lot of ultimates to use on the defense. That was a really efficient defense there with only that nano boost being used.
Yeah, and they get the EMP back up, too. So
Yeah,
5
very good.
ultimates now for the Gladiators, who have been absolutely dominant on Volskaya so far. Shanghai going to be coming up with some ultimates of their own. So maybe a possibility here to make it work. Still 2 minutes remaining, so they have time.
Yep, either way though. Gonna be tough to match the time for Gladiators. Pretty much impossible now, but if they can at least get those 2 points, force it into time bank, anything can happen.
Dia's just standing there on the side, so they're going to try and split up into 2 different units. Undead has moved over to the McCree, so wants to just control this health back. Surefour's going to come around from the back, looks like. Nope, changing
Yes.
his mind.
Oh, Roshan going in as well. Dia there. Surefour waiting for that EMP opportunity. Gonna have to wait out the Transcendence now that she should just
Here it
use.
comes, coming onto the point.
Yeah, that's right. They're all in the health pack room. Oh, Asher goes down, gets dope. Roshan taken out early. Surefour used that EMP. Tried to take advantage of people trapped in that little room there. And Undead taken out by Fissure's Primal Rage. He was ready with the Winston ultimate again. Gladiators using everything they've got. Fissure trying to escape right now, but he's got the support from Bishu, who is right there with the defensive matrix, right there to keep people away. And Shanghai once again forced back to spawn with under a minute remaining.
They did force all of the ultimates from the Gladiators, but in the same token, they had all of theirs removed as well. They're coming back with a Primal Rage, and Undead did work his way up to the Deadeye, but finding a position for this with this limited amount of time remaining is difficult. You have to get onto that high ground to have a sufficient Deadeye.
Surefour is going to have the EMP again. Big Goose has that nano boost. He's going to
There
put it on
goes.
Fissure right away. Fissure coming down onto that vulnerable backline. Shusha taken out almost immediately here. And Fissure just has everybody bottled up that room. Escapes with his life. And Surefour now has that EMP for sure. He is ready as Shanghai can only come in from one angle, really.
That Deadeye is not going to be able to get any damage done. Surefour just waiting for them to touch the point. He's going to get up there. He's going to use the EMP.
Oh, big EMP. He got everyone he needed to, and that's going to be it. Gladiators taking Volskaya Industries with very little trouble.
Well, Doa, on that defense, the Gladiators died once. It was Asher, so the total eliminations were
cow.
34-2 in favor of the Gladiators. An absolutely dominating performance from Los Angeles.
That's probably one of the biggest kill discrepancies I've seen in a match of Overwatch.
I would agree with you.
Wow. Okay, well, map number 2 coming up. We'll see if the Dragons can pick it up a bit on Control or if the Gladiators jump out to a 2-0 lead. We'll be back right after this.
Ready? Okay, 3, 2, 1, now, go.
Monkey no bubble.
Send this one.
I made you goose. I made you.
Yeah. Come on, monkey point.
Press the recall and close.
Press that.
Kill the bubble, mate. Have a picture. Have a picture.
Give Goose shield.
I am MP.
Yeah.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile, America's best unlimited network. Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League. And by Intel, the official computer processor of the Overwatch League. You just gotta keep moving forward.
Is that a stat we can bring up? Or is that not relevant because of the nano? And Spitfire will be your Overwatch League Stage 1 champions!
A lot of people are excited to see a new main tank playing for the Gladiators.
Fisher has been added to the team from the London Spitfire.
Great addition to this team. He wanted to have that position in the starting lineup. That's something he's going to get with the Gladiators.
Fisher just wrecks him again.
Nice.
Good push, guys.
Nice off, Fisher.
Gladiators with a big win. Really strong showing from Fisher.
연락을 좀 급작스럽게 받아가지고 그 다음에 글래디에이터로 가게 되었어요. 좋진 않았죠. 저도. 그래서 아니 그냥 성 푸는 거예요, 성. 아 런던 스피파이어 그 저지가 있긴 한데 근데 뭐 다른 팀 전 팀에서 나왔다고 해서 그걸 막 찢어버릴 수는 없잖아요. 그냥 갖고 있는 거죠. 여기는 이제 글래디에이터 선수들이 사는 그 숙소고요. 제 주관적으로는 저희는 이 숙소가 런던보다 그 어떤 것보다 좋기 때문에 전체적으로 자는 거라거나 뭐 밥을 먹는 거라거나 뭐 쉬는 거라거나 이런 거 있어서 저한테 더 잘 맞는. 뭐 사실 비쉬 형이랑 저랑 애쉬 형까지 해서 3명이라고 한국인을 하지만은 그래도 외국인이 한국어를 할 수는 없기 때문에 여기도 이제 외국이다 보고 그래서 저희가 영어를 연습해가지고 지금 연습을 하고 있어요. 근데 뭐
Getting Fisher was kind of news to us, so everything happened really fast. But I already had like experience kind of translating mid-game because we already had Asher. Because he was in the DPS role, Asher was more self-sufficient, so I didn't have to like translate things as much. But since Fisher's a main tank coming in, everyone needs to be on the same page with the main tank, and I guess it's a work in progress. Right now, I pretty much have to like translate most of the things that he wants to do. We had a pretty good result on our first game, and it's only gonna get better.
The new tank leading the way, picked up from the Spitfire, put into action.
And Fisher just battling around the members of Dallas. That's a big fight win for the Gladiators.
제가 이제 일주일 동안 글래디에이터에서 일했고 2개의 경기를 했는데 아직 저희가 훨씬 더 나아갈 부분이 많다고 생각해요. 지금 저희는 말을 다른 이견이 없을 정도로 저희는 지금 연습이 필요합니다. 팀에 트레이드된 이후에 처음엔 좀 많이 슬펐지만은 해보자라고 생각해서 지금까지 열심히 해왔던 것 같아요.
What a wild ride it's been for Fisher here, but now he's on the Gladiators, and he's certainly making his presence felt. I mean, whether he wanted to come here or not, man, I think the Gladiators are pretty happy he's around.
I mean, he's just such an incredible player that having him in a starting position where we're going to see a lot more of his play and not behind gesture most of the time is a huge win for me as a caster and for you guys as fans.
Well, I think it's great for Fissure too, because now instead of someone who's on the bench a lot, this is a guy who's in the spotlight. He is kind of like the main guy on Gladiators now here in stage number 2. And I gotta say, we talked about the communication on the Gladiators, and we saw in that little video that they struggle a little bit because there is that language barrier. But if Volskaya is any indication, they are certainly, I think, doing pretty good in improvement in that category.
I definitely agree. Will be Hydration coming in for Surefour, so looking to run the Tracer with Asher still.
Yeah, Altering coming in on the Shanghai Dragon side, as is Freefeel, swapping up the supports a bit as we go ahead into Nepal.
Yeah, should be an interesting match here. Hydration definitely has some opportunities to play some Pharah on some of these points. We'll see what their plan is going to be, because you think that Surefour on the Soldier might be useful for a lot of Nepal, so they must have something different in store.
I mean, Nepal's one of those rounds where you can run the Pharah sometimes too, and Hydration has kind of been the better Pharah that we've seen so far from Gladiator. So
definitely.
Maybe that's part of the plan here.
Could be the Genji coming in as well. Maybe we'll get lucky and we'll see some Doomfist out of Hydration.
Could be
one of his specialties.
Yeah, you never know.
Map is going to be Shrine to start us off.
That's right. So the Shanghai Dragons get 3 kills this map. They'll have already exceeded their total from Volskaya Industries. That was
true.
That's a crazy stat, man. I mean, it was 32-2 on that map. So
34.
34-2. My bad. 34-2.
Yeah.
Wow.
Was a bit grim, but we've also seen from the Dragons that they have been able to come back on certain maps in the past, and we've seen them push things to 5 maps, even though they've had pretty lopsided performances on an initial map in this series, so not all is lost yet. Yes, and 4 Gladiator players did end Volskaya Industries with 0 deaths. Surefour and Asher each died once.
Yep, shields are up.
They were
or not even needed. Who knows? Well, here we go. Getting started on Shrine Gladiators versus Shanghai Dragons. Shanghai trying to tie things up. Let's see if they do a bit better here on controls. We get things going.
Be the dive composition. So Gladiators relied heavily on Tracer and Genji in their first week of play. I think they were just trying to get one composition down after adding Fissure before trying to branch out a little bit more, but we are seeing them go back to that style of play here on Nepal.
Big Goose has been a force to be reckoned with on that Lucio. Get to see him on this. That's going to be a treat as well. Shanghai on the outside looking in, trying to get onto this point here as it unlocks. Right about now, the dive coming in. Asher going to be able to loop around the outside a little bit later if he wants to. Right now, just kind of building that ult charge on these tanks as they kind of just poke it through the doorway. MG a little bit low. Oh, there goes Freefeel. Asher finds the opportunity, grabs a health pack on his way to go kill Altering. He is taking down both supports, and why not add Dia to that one? Asher, such a big part of the early success on the Volskaya attack, now making his presence known here on Shrine as well.
Shanghai tried to play that a pretty standard way for Soldier Tracer, using the range advantage on the side while rotating tanks to touch the point, just to hold it off, but they never got the necessary damage, and you have to be able to finish people off with your Tracer, with your Winston in that situation, to get poked by the Soldier 76. That opportunity never arose. It will be Hydration here, looking up top, does find a few members of the Dragon. He's just gonna pull out the blade.
Wow, that is bold, but he gets one. Meanwhile, the rest of his team jumping in from behind. And Hydration, another kill on the MG. Yep, sure, coming in now. And they will quite soundly defeat Shanghai on that attack. And the setup with that, Hydration and Asher both kind of waiting on the sides near or behind the doors that Shanghai could have come through. So Gladiators doing a good job of setting things up.
Yeah, they did. Sometimes in the last week, it looked like Hydration was pulling his blade a little early and he was getting caught out of position too far forward. But that time around, had some backup to get him into position on the high ground. Now everybody's over, and that's a pulse bomb going in. Is it going to get anybody? No.
I mean, they got both support ultimates out of the Dragons. That's got to feel pretty good if you're Gladiators. And then the kills start coming through. Roshan down, Asher with another one there as he's back on the point to defend. Shaz does get taken out, so Dragons with a couple kills anyway that they might be able to turn around into a team fight win, but no. Gladiators once again on the back of Fissure and Asher able to win that fight, and now we're up to near 90% with the team in purple Dragons are going to be scrambling here.
So Freefield has an opportunity to actually enter the point with the Transcendence right now. Nothing for Big Goose and Shaz, and only the Primal Rage to work with. So Shanghai has a strong approach. They're going to enter with the Primal Rage, then back it up.
Oh, yeah, okay. It's going to be a Transcendence. Fissure waiting for it. Ooh, wow, he wants to really come down from on high. Meanwhile, Hydration comes in with the Dragon Blade. They've got the Dragons lined up again, and that's when Fissure joins. You can see on the kill feed now, he is all over the Gladiators. And that's going to be about that. Shanghai nearly flipped it at the end. That is 100-0. And you want to talk about kill discrepancy again. That was 22-6 on that round. Hasn't really gotten much better.
Yeah, you look at how Fissure played the end of that round too. When we see him just trying to bait out that Transcendence, is very aware of what his role is. Comes in with the Primal Rage, Transcendence pop immediately. He just hops on the roofs and waits for it to be over before re-entering the fray. So
no reason to fight there.
Yeah, mission accomplished from his perspective.
So, round one going the way of the Gladiators, and now we will move to Sanctum for our second round here on Nepal. Chance for Shanghai to tie this one up. Here we go. It's going to be Fissure on the Orisa this time, and Hydration will indeed move over to the Pharah, kind of like we were guessing.
Mercy coming out for Big Goose, so trying to play with that Pharah. They're pretty aware that Undead is going to be playing a long-range hit scan here. Of course, Dia will be on that Tracer. MG is trying to just run across with the rest of his team. The dive is working.
Yeah, well, they lose Roshan very early, though. Asher does go down. Is the trade worth it here? Big Goose brings the 76 pack up, so you could say probably not here at this point. Meanwhile, Shanghai is on the point. They gotta get there. They gotta try to stop them somehow. Dia down, the Tracer out of commission, and now that's the cue for Gladiators to walk towards the point. They played this one so methodically.
Yeah, they pushed Dia out before attempting the resurrection. Very good defensive play there, conservative play from Big Goose, ensuring that he's not going to die during the channel time. Hydration now pumping these doorways full of rockets.
Yeah, that's right. Shanghai just couldn't exit those tiny doorways because of those rockets. So Gladiators get their control percent building first. Ooh, and that was nearly a knockoff onto Dia from the concussion grenade from Hydration. Doesn't matter though, the fight's over, and Gladiators once again coming out ahead in the first round, or in the second round here early on.
Yeah, Shanghai half committing into that fight too, and it's very difficult to make that work because you just end up getting staggered so badly at the end. Shanghai now will have a chance to regroup and try and join into this fight. Big Goose and Shaz already sitting on a couple of support ultimates available and ready to use.
Trying to pressure Bishu here, but not really being hurt too badly. Roshan a little bit low. Bishu jumps up for the health pack. Now the Transcendence comes in. Bishu just gonna wait, bide his time, gets noticed, has to back away now. Meanwhile, Hydration did die somehow. He took out MG, but kind of got blown up by his own rockets, it looks like. Shanghai with a chance to flip the point here, perhaps. They got to avoid that self-destruct. They do that successfully. He a little bit on his own, and now the tac visor coming in. Asher not wanting to let anybody get close to that, and yeah, that's going to be the cleanup, it looks like. Dia comes in with the double pulse bomb, though. Maybe. Oh, Roshan goes down. He had no support to keep him alive, so even with that heroic play from Dia, Shanghai can't flip the point.
Yeah, late supercharger provides the damage necessary for the Gladiators. And now they're taking a look at this point once again. Shaz, the only one with an ult up on the side of the Gladiators. Undead has a chance to use the tac visor, and that is a devastating kill. Damage boost will be resurrected, however, the back line.
Oh, the way of the Jonak from Shaz, and we know he gets those picks on his own too. The damage boost certainly helps. Dia did finish off Hydration though, so it's a 6v5. Asher sneaking on the back though. If he can get a kill onto Undead perhaps, that's big, but no! Turns around and they kill each other with each other's Helix rockets. Soldier for soldier. Shanghai scrambling. They've lost both their DPS though. Roshan trying to hold on the point. He's gonna go ahead and dive in. Shaz in a little bit of trouble. That's a Primal Raging Winston. 2 HP. He doesn't last. We're into overtime. Shanghai nearly has that point flipped. If they can just get Bishu off long enough, they can do it. There's the self-destruct though. The shield is gone. Hydration took that one off, but Shanghai does finally get their control percent going.
Yeah, they do, and they force everybody all the way back out through the doors right there. Asher comes back in with the Soldier 76, tries to get some damage a little bit too late though to make the play, and now altering in free field. Support ults available, so Gladiators has to fight their way back in.
That's right.
There's a long flank happening actually right now from Hydration. It looks like he's coming around for a surprise barrage onto the back line.
That pulse bomb didn't really get a whole lot done. Hydration, but that barrage did get the kill onto Undead.
He flanked all the way around outside Doa, and you know what this is going to do? It's going to punish any possible resurrects. Fortunately for Shanghai, he does get pushed outside, but Dia, you can't take that duel at that range against the Pharah.
Wow, and this is why you bring Hydration in. You get that great Pharah specialist OD ticking, and that's going to be the Gladiators taking Nepal 2-0. 2 quick maps and a 2-0 lead for the Gladiators.
They should be feeling great about this. This is a team that improved a lot with the addition of Fisher. They're looking tighter in terms of their gameplay than we saw last week.
Yep, that's right. So much fun to see Hydration on that Pharah too. That was a great flank on the outside.
That was a bold move going all the way outside around the side of Sanctum, but when they have the Mercy, if you can get a kill, even if you don't kill the Mercy, you can zone her off the resurrection target. So Undead falling early made a big difference.
Yeah, I don't care what team you are. You're not going to expect the Pharah coming in from that side. That's crazy. Oh, brutal. When we come back halftime, guys, don't go anywhere.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Intel, the official computer processor of the Overwatch League. T-Mobile, America's best unlimited network. And by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League.
Week 2, Stage 2, final match of the day, and so far it's all the Gladiators. They're up 2-0 over the Shanghai Dragons, and here to break down the action, we got breadcrumbs once again. Fellas, Let's start off here with you, Mr. Bren. Going into the match, I have to give you credit. In the past, you have called teams before they start their winning streaks. Houston was a great example in stage 1. Today, you said this was the start for the Dragons, that this was your team to watch. So far, they're in the hole 0-2. Let's go through your grade card. What's going on with this squad?
Yep, so I mean, I had various things that were going to be happening in this game. This is my prediction. Undead and Deer, they were going to pop off. I thought we were going to see some quad tank play potentially, and I thought their Sombra play was going to be up to scratch. So far, none of those have come true. Now, all I can say is, I mean, you're expecting angry Bren. I'm just disappointed, Bren, right now.
At yourself or at the...
Well, we won't go into that right now, Crumbs, okay? That's for my therapist, not you. Now, this game, I genuinely thought Shanghai were going to be capable of bringing this here, and I got a clip as well, and I was trying to pinpoint where exactly they're going wrong with this and where the problems are. And I saw one play, I saw Altering using his ultimate on the pawn, and I was like, this is where the problem is. But no, actually, if you look at close attention there, the boop at the last second, it's very hard to miss, and I'm not sure if we can get a replay on it, but as Altering used his sound barrier there, he actually got pushed back by the D.Va, by Fisher on the Winston as well. They actually forced him back as he dropped the beat so that he couldn't get line of sight onto anyone, so only got the beat onto himself. And I was looking for reasons, right, you know, as to why Shanghai
that just
Dragons
sounds like a sick play.
It was a sick play. Yeah, and this is another point I want to make, is the fact that Gladiators now are not the same Gladiators that we know them in the past. This is a team...
Here's the clip one more time, Brett, just to slow it down. You see the beat coming, but both tanks have knocked him back out of line of sight of his teammate.
Yeah, they just push him all the way back. And, you know, with the sound barrier, with that ultimate ability, you need to be within vision range or for your entire team for it to connect onto them. And it's just a smart play by Gladiators. They push him back into the corner. He can't connect it onto anyone. It's just a nice little play by Gladiators. When I was, you know, trying to find what the issue is here for Shanghai, I feel like part of the problem is that they are just being kind of outclassed by a potential top-tier team here, Gladiators, which nobody's really considered.
Crumbs, you just squinted as if you were questioning everything Bren said.
Team, yes, I do question many things that he said, especially because we spend so much time here on the desk. I feel like we are his therapist, so he should be listening to us a little more.
No.
But
absolutely,
you're mentioning that the Gladiators are poised to be a top team. I still think that they have a long ways to go. It's not even me that has that opinion. Fisher comes onto the team, and he's saying they've got a lot to work on. So tank play is a great start, but they still have communication, other things that they have to solve, like just more synergy, coordination with him. So I feel like this team is definitely on the up and up, but we have to be very cautious with it, right?
I was going to say, how much further do you want them to go? You look at these highlights from Volskaya. The game was over before I got back from the bathroom.
Right, but this is you're going to be playing against, what does this Gladiator squad look like against the Seoul Dynasty, which beat the Dallas Fuel, and the Dallas Fuel beat the Gladiator. So by that notion, they still have some work.
You want to talk about pedantics here, Crumbs, with this night, right? Listen, Shanghai, when they played against Valiant, they brought it to a close game. Despite the scoreline being 3-0, Shanghai looked good. And now here are Gladiators dismantling this. I mean, where do you want to pin Gladiators? What more proof do you need that they are actually an up-and-coming team, that they are a top team?
I'm with you, Crumbs. We do still need to see more from the Gladiators, and we do have a second half. Let's revisit game number 2 real quickly, though, because this is where I'm afraid, if you're a Shanghai Dragons fan, you got outclassed when it came to the control map. They were simply outslayed. You look at the total limbs for 2 games, 42-14. How do you stop Asher in the second half if you're the Dragons? How do you even slow down this Gladiator squad?
I mean, you could tailor your composition. You could try and counteract what they're running by maybe running a slower paced composition. The anti-dive, as they call it. You know, you want to be running that McCree, maybe Junkrat, so you can have that concussion mine, so you've got the flashbang just to slow down the pace of things a little bit. But this is always the danger when you're up against people like Asher, like Hydration, is you're going to be up against this top-tier damage-dealing duo, right? And that's a real issue, is because when Asher's turning up, when he's on fire, the guy doesn't slow down. He just runs over your entire team.
And he really tends to have these very outstanding performances when he goes off. So if any indication is to that for that to be happening, I think the Dragons will have a much harder time than already having.
Let's talk about the Dragons moving forward. We do have Kings Row, and last time we saw the Gladiators, it was Hollywood. We saw Dia running Azaria very well. Could we see quad tank? Could the full tank stack come back for Kings Row next?
Absolutely. That's where you want to see it busted up. They run the quad tank, and then you can even splash in the Widowmaker. So I think this map is actually going to help them out. Yeah, Widowmaker,
I agree.
You switch it up, maybe even try some Hanzo if they feel like they can do it. Hanzo, Widow. You might be just flat out winning the map from the composition. You at least cap the first point like that.
Well, the compositions weren't working in the first half. We'll see if the Dragons can make adjustments during this halftime and come out swinging. Game number 3 is coming up after the break. Don't go anywhere or you'll miss Kings Row.
The LA Gladiators are doing their thing against the Shanghai Dragons as they are currently up 2-0. Now, some of you may have heard that a new Overwatch hero was announced earlier today. She's the daughter of Torbjorn, the goddaughter of Reinhardt, and she's a very cool hybrid support/tank character. So for those of you who have not seen, allow us to introduce you to Brigitte. Brigitte.
In stories, the heroes get the honor and glory. But their gleaming armor, their mighty weapons, the people who built them were heroes in their own right. And I thought I was gonna follow in their footsteps. But a hammer and tools can't fix every problem. There are some things that can never be repaired. It's not enough to wait until the battle is over to fix their armor and bandage their wounds. If you can fight at their side, you can try to keep the blows from falling. And maybe even protect them from themselves. I am Brigitte Lindholm, and I will be their shield.
Oh man, I'm psyched. Brigitte has been a lot of fun to play, and you guys can actually play her right now. She's on the PTR, so go check it out. I'm sure there's tons of matches out there with 12 Brigittas just flailing away at each other. But
that's what we did.
That's right, yeah. But it's really going to change the game. Like, she's actually going to change up the meta. I think she's going to enable a lot of things. It's going to be cool to see what people can do with them. Sure4 is subbing in for Asher, meanwhile, back in the Overwatch League as we look ahead to Kings Row. And on the Shanghai Dragon side, 5king coming in for Freefeel.
So the rotation of Gladiators DPS continues. Every time we see these guys play, we see every combination of their 3 DPS. It seems like this time on Kings Row might be a bit of Zarya play here for Sure4, one would think.
That's right. What do you think those like sort of turning laser things in front of the clock face on Big Ben are in Kings Row? Or Medium Ben? I don't know. Is it actually Big Ben or is it a different clock in the future?
I have no idea. It doesn't look like it's Big Ben. Based on its location in London, the fact that it's not right next to Parliament, I'm going to go with not Big Ben unless they demolished Parliament, which I don't think they would do.
Semi Big Ben. Big Ben 2, the return. This time it's personal. Either way, Kings Row, and this has been a fun map because we see a lot of different strategies. You can run the dive. The triple tank is very popular. You can run the quad tank with Moira, Lucio. A lot of different heroes. This is absolutely one of my favorite maps in the game, and I think a lot of people feel that way right now.
I think it's really fun because of the amount of crowd control heroes we see on this map with Zarya and Reinhardt and how many big ultimate combos we've been getting. It has been a delight to watch overall.
That's right. So here we go. LA Gladiators on the attack once again. Shanghai Dragons setting up the defense. Looks like they may be going with the Lucio Moira triple tank along with that Junkrat, spamming lots of damage in through that choke.
Playing a bit of a risk though, because they are going to be vulnerable to Pharah play from the Gladiators. So we'll see if Gladiators want to commit to this dive composition or whether they will swap off upon seeing how the Shanghai Dragons have set themselves up.
I mean, that's the thing. I'm surprised Shanghai is trying this because hydration is still in the game. And yeah, if the person who plays Pharah a lot ends up playing Pharah, you might end up being in a little bit of trouble. So, let's see what they can do. Here we go. Gladiators on the attack. Will they swap to the Pharah when they see this composition?
Sombra for Big Goose, actually. So where is the first pack he's going to hack? It will be, I think it was the Mega Pack at the bottom of the theater.
Yeah, just right inside the door
there. It is, okay. It is, we can see it through. He's gonna try and get up onto this high ground right now where there is a mini pack. Gonna hack that one first underneath the statue.
A Roshan shield showing some wear already. They may have just already burned through it as Shanghai goes back into the hotel. Big Goose gonna go back up to safety on the high ground there. He's got another health pack to hack back inside the rooms there.
Yes, nice patient play. Mega Pack underneath now is going to be hacked. Sure4 comes around, gives his teammate a little bit more ult charge. So Big Goose nearing that EMP. Now he's gonna drop down from the upper halls. This could be enormous.
He's coming in. Big EMP. He gets pretty much everybody, and immediately LA Gladiators just diving onto Shanghai, and that was a pretty stompy fight. Fissure gets a bit low, but he'll be okay. Great EMP, great setup from the Gladiators.
You have to really anticipate that though if you're Shanghai. You can't be clumped up in the open. You have to split your members so that some of them are going to be playing inside the hotel and force them to make a decision. It's really all too easy for the Gladiators to pull that play off.
Yeah. Wow, Big Goose bringing the big plays for point A here on Kings Row. And now Gladiators can come into point B with a pretty decent ult edge too.
Gladiators are interesting to me because even last stage, they like to run Sombra on maps that other teams didn't. So
okay, here we go. Again. Oh, he cuts the Riptire out of the air.
The Vandal, what a punk.
Kidding.
What a punk hydration is.
Slashing tires like nobody's business, man. Trying to get to the back lines now, and the rest of his team, inspired by Hydration's sick moves, Comes in, wins fight, payload still moving fast.
And Big Goose still on this Sombra too. He's gonna go around and hack that health pack. So he's been making his way forward, pack by pack, and now he's just gonna sit here and wait for them to engage with his EMP.
He's hacking the packs inside the third point already before they even finish point B.
Some style hacks right there, that's for sure.
Kidding, yeah, that gives Surefour a lot of extra health.
Here we go.
Can really work with another EMP comes in. There's a pulse bomb. No kills from that one though. Hydration does cut down Roshan. He gets Dia as well. That's 2 for the Genji already. Shanghai desperately trying to defend, trying to stop the Gladiators from taking B. Altering getting some health back off of sucking the life from Surefour, but Fissure jumps in for the save. And now, they're gonna get point B just like that. Shanghai pushed back, they couldn't really get past.
Oh no, an Undead threw the grab right at the end, and they couldn't get any follow-up onto it either, so an ult you would have really wanted
I didn't
is
want
now
to
no
believe
longer available.
I didn't want to believe it when I saw it, but it's true.
And now Gladiators coming back in again. Big ult reset here. They have no support ultimates, and they're going to be playing into another EMP and a Dragon Blade. This is going to be extremely difficult for the Dragons.
It's his time. He's lurking. He's the real ninja now. Coming in, it's Dragon Blade time. Into the back lines. Okay, and he's got the Transcendence going on to altering. Where's the sleep dart? It missed. Meanwhile, Roshan down. Hydration doing his job, and then he just turns for the casual flick.
And gets the Riptire.
And the Riptire. What?
He got the Junkrat, who was hiding in the alcove, and followed up with the kill onto the Riptire.
Insanity. And Fissure, man, he's in your door, and he doesn't want to sell you cookies. He just wants to keep you blocked in there.
All right, Roshan's going to escape, though, from the other side. So Dragons have a chance now to get back onto the cart. Undead going to come out, try and use the Deadeye.
Oh, Hydration. That Doomfist needs to get out of there, though. I think Fissure got a little bit too overeager at the end of that. That set up a nice little advantage for Shanghai, which, of course, you are going to capitalize on.
Yeah, Fissure didn't have the Primal Rage, so it was hard for him to really door camp effectively, especially when they're coming back around the other side. Hydration now on the Junkrat. So Shanghai is going to hold here. Looked grim for a moment, nearly made it all the way through point C, but now they have a chance to settle back in and try this defense.
Still a good amount of time, about 3.5 minutes for Gladiators in the time bank. Shanghai with some ultimates to work with. And Hydration. See what he can do. That's a lot of damage coming in from that Junkrat already.
I mean, that Riptire is building awfully fast, though.
Oh, yes it is, and oh boy, that's a problem. Transcendence used to keep him safe. Roshan very low. Gotta watch out for that self-destruct. Hydration barely gets out of line of sight. Dia down. Now Roshan a bit on his own. They got the sound barrier onto him, so he was able to delay for the moment. But Surefour walking forward now gets the DMAC onto MG. Fighting on the side, looks like Five King in a little bit of trouble. There's Undead. He's got the Deadeye ready to go. But here comes a Riptire, and that's gonna be a couple with that one. The Gladiators will finish. Pretty quick time on the attack here on Kings Row.
Yeah, I'll be feeling good about that push overall. Nice swaps at the end, bringing out the Lucio again, and coming back with the Junkrat and the McCree, making it look pretty easy, rolling through to the end of that point. Shanghai Dragons managed to regain their footing and shave some time off.
True enough.
So we'll be 2 minutes and 43 seconds available for the Gladiators.
But it's really been like a story of the fights, a story of the skirmishes between these two teams here. This is a stat we've talked about every map. We're going to talk about it again. Kills on both sides. 29 for the Gladiators, 8 for Shanghai.
Yeah, they have a chance here to make it up, at least in an attack run. We'll see how the Gladiators are going to defend. They go for a dive composition. Looks like that may be their ticket here with Hydration and Surefour playing the Genji and the Tracer right now.
Yeah, we will see.
And they'll stay on those as they exit spawn.
Dragons thinking about using that Pharah. Probably not going to play Altering on that one. Yeah, I think we might see him swap there.
I do think it's interesting that we're seeing more variety out of the Gladiators today than we did last week. They seem more comfortable playing around different compositions. They're not stringing out on the map and leaving certain members of vulnerable. So the synergy is starting to show up for these guys a little bit better.
Very quickly, too. I'm actually surprised that they're looking so tight today. But
yeah, I'm curious what Altering is going to move to here. Will be the Moira, so they are running The big tank composition. Shaz.
Windows update in progress on the Zenyatta. It always happens at the worst times, doesn't it?
He has to flash his bios.
That's right. Hold on, guys. I'm almost done. I just got to restart 5 more times. Shanghai on the attack. Let's see what they can do. It's going to be the triple tank. Dia back on that Junkrat again. Moira, Lucio, the supports.
Yeah, it's tough to approach this with a dive composition, so we'll see how the Gladiators like to make this attack. Shanghai staying together for the moment, getting harassed, but that Moira healing doing a lot of work, so.
Yeah, and it will in this tight quarters like this.
Yeah, Hydration and Surefour nearly both died.
That's right. All right, they've got the high ground. Shield getting a little bit low. Might have broken right there. Gonna have to wait a little bit. They get into the room just in time here.
Dead actually fell down. He wasn't there making the leap with the speed boost from the Lucio.
Yeah, he can get back up again pretty easily. He rejoins the team. So now, this has been a long way around for Shanghai. It's going to be a lot of time off the clock if they can't make this attack work.
I mean, they have to drop onto this point right now. They've got Dia in a good position, overlooking the point, dealing damage with the grenades.
I really like where Dia is right now. It's going to be hard for Gladiators to do anything about him. They're starting to take the point here. Altering has that Coalescence already, trying to keep his tanks alive. A lot of healing onto MG there. They do get the DMech onto Bishu. So far, so good for Shanghai. Bishu goes down as well, so it's a 6v5 here on the point right now. Big Goose and Shaz getting close to their support ultimates. Dia gets stopped by Fissure though, and now the Transcendence comes in. They're gonna go out and pair them with a few more ultimates. That's right. Trying to cut away at the tanks of Shanghai here. There goes the mech, there goes Roshan, there goes MG. Hydration coming up big as the rest of his team softens up the Dragons. And it looks like Dragon's only going to get 1 tick on the point when things are all said and done.
Yeah, the nano boost on the Dragon Blade to bail them out, had the Transcendence. Great ult sequencing there from the Gladiators, and it was such a promising long flank from the Shanghai Dragons. Looked like they were going to be able to take it. Now they're just going to rush in through the hotel.
That's right. All right, sound barrier for Shanghai. They want to fight this, get onto the point, but Gladiators just backing away. They're saying, all right, let's just let that ult run out. Re-engage afterwards. They don't lose anybody. Tia's Riptire needs to be a big one here. Self-destruct getting avoided. Shaz goes down. MG gets 1. Bishu gets a tire with the self-destruct. He sent it out a bit too early, but they do have the Zarya ultimate coming in, and they're able to capitalize on that to take down Big Goose. So Gladiators really scrambling here to try to hold the point. They've eaten a lot of time off the time bank, but it looks like Shanghai might have put together the push they needed. Yeah, that payload gonna finally get moving.
Yeah, the Graviton Surge sealing the deal in favor of the Dragons. So rush the point straight through the hotel that time. See a lot more success. You know, they're staying together well as a unit. It is difficult to dive this composition when you play in that fashion, and Gladiators not gonna change anything up right now.
Yep, you can see Surefour a little bit far ahead, trying to get some early poking done.
So Big Goose, well not, they do change Big Goose over to the Lucio. So one change at the support position. Difficult to play Ana through the streets phase here.
Oh, that Earth Shatter.
That did not execute.
That did not go the right direction. Yeah. All right. Well, Gladiators coming in, trying to make something out of that Earth Shatter that went wrong for Shanghai, and now they're able to win that team fight pretty easily.
Hydration's gonna make the swap now to the Junkrat too. Wants to use these narrow streets to choke them up with some of those Junkrat grenades, forcing everybody back in, altering with a late death. That is it's a tough stagger, and this is a 5-on-6 out of these spawn doors right now, so Hydration is still not even back anywhere close to the rest of his team.
Gladiators needs to pull back right now because Shanghai has a lot of ultimates too, so yeah, they do pull back. Shanghai coming through this top way.
Altering alone.
Altering in a little bit of trouble here. They come down to try to save him. Coalescence used. Surefour jumping in. There's a pulse bomb. No kills out of that one though. Now Dia biding his time with that Riptire. Try to find some targets.
For supports, he's not going to find any in that direction, and it's not going to be used at all.
Oh my gosh, he couldn't find anyone. Meanwhile, Fissure finds him. Gets roasted. And now Bishu charging on top of everyone. They've got them all pushed back. That's a sound barrier used by Shanghai right now. Transcendence on the other side for the Gladiators. Surefour does go down, but Shanghai pushed back to spawn yet again.
I mean, they get Surefour, but can they make another attack right now? And try and get onto that payload. It's going to be poking away at Roshan and his barrier. Self-destruct coming in.
Yeah, I don't know. Ooh, that angle. Yeah, kind of got caught up on the sign a little bit.
I don't think he meant to do that one. Sometimes you need to, but that really cost it some distance.
Yeah, that's right. All right, Graviton Surge. Roshan coming in, trying to swing away at the team. Shaz does go down. Coalescence again, used by Altering. Meanwhile, Fissure has that Nano Boost on the Winston. No, I'm sorry, he's actually just got the Primal Rage. Crackling with Raging Energy instead of Nano Boost Energy this time around. And Surefour over on the Pharah now, raining death from above. Shanghai trying to turn this fight around. They push the payload a little bit here.
Got a little bit too close to the ground. Dia able to pick him off. Graviton in that last fight was basically canceled out by Big Goose with the Sound Bearer. However, Shanghai pick it up undead on the McCree right now. We'll see if Altering is going to make a change away from the Moira, because it's not going to be the best composition necessarily to use Moira with. You don't have a combination, an ult combo with the Graviton, and you don't have a lot of tanks to close range heal.
That's right. Gladiators walking back forward. A lot of changes for them here.
Oh, MG actually finds hydration all alone on the flank.
Not a bad start. Gladiators trying to defend the end of point B, but MG comes in with a big self-destruct, and there goes Fissure. That's going to be point B taken by Shanghai. They should get it there. That should be it right there. Yeah, so 2 minutes on the clock. Less time than the Gladiators had, but Shanghai with a bit of momentum coming into this one.
Bishu on the Zarya. Surefour again changing heroes. Wants to play McCree on this last point and use that medium range around the corner to maximize that damage.
That's right, the final stretch here for Shanghai to try to equalize the points on this map. Send it into Time Bank.
Oh, hydration. MG again finds him. Hydration.
Not too sneaky.
And playing an aggressive Junkrat game, but now they're starting to get punished.
Yeah, that's right. And Bishu in a lot of trouble. Oh, the kill comes in anyway. Surefour got him. But Shanghai still rolling forward. Now they're the ones camping the spawn.
Bishu sticking to the Zarya. Doesn't want to make a change. I think might be wise for him to go back to the Diva at this late stage. Even having that ability to stay alive in the mini Diva form is good for these late game pushes.
Sure is.
One holds.
1 minute for Shanghai. They've nearly got it there though. Roshan does go down, so that's going to be a good start for Gladiators. Yep, Dia falls as well. And with that, Shanghai gonna need to back up a little bit. So they've got maybe one more push and no ults to use along with it except for Coalescence.
Coalescence isn't gonna be enough on its own, Noah, particularly when Big Goose can counteract it with the Sound Barrier. Question is, how close can they get? Fissure might just Earth Shatter them right as they come around the corner.
Undead swapping over to that Reaper. He died a bit late. Trying to catch back up to his team as it goes down to 20 seconds in the time bank for Shanghai. They have to finish the map if they want to force it into the extra rounds here.
Yeah, Fissure. He's got the shatter as you see.
Roshan
has no
he's
healing.
on his own. Where's your team, Roshan?
Where are your healers? They're not there. Moira was too far back to give him healing.
Sound Barrier comes in for the Gladiators. Shanghai trying to wait it out. Dia in the back lines now. There's the grab, that's right. Transcendence used for Gladiators as well. Undead, gotta worry about that guy, but there's the D-Mac, there's a bigger shatter, comes in, but not even a lot of members left to fight. Roshan again on his own, and it's a shooting gallery for Surefour. That will be another map going the way of the Gladiators.
The rest of the team of Shanghai was trying to flank around the other side. Gladiators identified that Roshan was alone. The Moira wasn't close enough to heal him. So, I mean, you have to be in range of your tank in that situation. Otherwise, he's a sitting duck, basically.
Pretty much. Well, that's 3-0 for the LA Gladiators right now. One more map to go. We'll see if Shanghai can at least get that crucial map win. Don't go anywhere again, guys. We'll be back with another map right after this.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League. Intel, the official computer processor of the Overwatch League. And by T-Mobile, America's best unlimited network.
All right, guys, we are back. Gladiators with a 3-0 lead over the Shanghai Dragons. It's been a pretty one-sided affair so far, but one map to go. It's going to be Route 66, so...
More Sombra, that's what that means. I wonder if we're going to see some attack Sombra from the LA Gladiators. They do like to use it in unorthodox situations. And without Shusha being in this game, they may not play.
I wonder.
The Sombra on defense.
Yeah, Asher in for hydration, as you can see on your screen right now. And over on the Shanghai side, Freefeel in for 5 King. Another swap on the support category.
Yeah, so we'll see what Shanghai wants to do on this defense, if they're going to play Sombra on a different player or if they have a different stat in mind. But if there is no enemy Sombra and you realize this, then playing attack Sombra also good on Route 66. If you can quickly take over that pack in the tunnel, you have a sort of a stage of operations to push out from.
Yeah, that's the plan. We will see, but it seems hard to kind of imagine playing defense on Route 66 and not running the Sombra. She's just so strong. It's one of the strongest defensive point plus hero combinations in Overwatch.
I definitely agree. When you have 2 health packs, mega health packs, that close to you, it's just insane the amount of healing that you can get for your teammates.
Yeah, you get that.
Especially because on either side of a choke point where the payload's going through, you're feeling great about that.
Yeah.
If you're a defensive team.
Yeah, and remember, we're still on that patch where Sombra can get ulta charged through people using her hacked health pack. So you're going to have that EMP pretty much every single fight, unless you happen to die really early for some reason.
I mean, even with the changes coming into play, the fact that the hacked health pack comes up in 4 or 5 seconds and you're getting a mega every time, even if you don't get ult charge, it's still amazing.
It's still very good to give your team that much healing.
Yeah.
And so when you combine that with, the Sombra changes coming down the pipe where, she's got that narrower line of fire, she can just do a bit more damage, hack people faster. I think we're still going to see plenty of Sombra on this map, even after that change comes through.
I think unless the actual health pack sizes are changed, if one of them turns into a mini health pack, that's
no
when
refunds.
We might see a bit of a change in the meta. But until that happens, or if that ever happens, I'm not sure. And for now, there will be no Sombra on the defense, and also no Sombra on attack for the Gladiators. Surefour, he is a noted Bastion enthusiast, and is he going to play it? No, switches to McCree. Sad times.
Indeed, yeah. No Sombra on the defense for Shanghai. Gladiators coming out.
Oh, I was hoping for some attack Sombra.
Bishu, you're making me ill.
Don't do that to the observers. That's just
worse
cruel.
than the Blair Witch Project, man. I'm dating myself there, I guess, but it's true.
I mean, this match is just
that guy out there, he loves the Blair Witch Project. There you go.
This match is just about as gruesome, though, Noah, I have to say.
It's been a horror show, no doubt about it. They'll find this footage someday, and they'll be like, oh, man. But Dia does come out with first blood here.
Got some nice
Jazz
kills.
Goes down, all right.
Out of the support, so Undead and Dia combining for some early pickoffs here, and it's going to drive the Gladiators back. Dia harassing them on the retreat. Not quite going to demech Bishu, and instead is going to give a lot of ult charge over. Surefour makes the switch to the Widowmaker.
Yep. Looking for shots up on that high ground there. Ooh, Zenyatta might give it to him.
He knows the Zen's
Oh, you're stuck.
Oh, nice job, Dia. Taking this defense into his own hands. I like how aggressive Shanghai is playing right now.
Yeah, they gotta be. I mean, that's what this is designed to do, and Gladiators looking like they weren't quite ready for this level of aggression coming in from the defense.
Yeah, resurrection onto Roshan too. So you can see the McCree and the Tracer walking up right as they come around this corner, punishing with the flashbang and the pulse bomb, and it's been very effective. This Widowmaker from Surefour hasn't been able to get the position. He's going to try for an aerial shot. No sightlines available. Oh, Undead. Not going to get hit by that pulse bomb. Instead, takes a few shots there at Fissure.
That's an optimistic Deadeye. Gladiators getting back in position here. Ooh,
That's
Fissure
nice
though.
flashbang, though.
Yeah, great flashbang. Good stun onto Fissure. They try to control that hallway here. Gladiators getting stopped pretty cold.
Asher going to try and take over this high ground right now, but Shanghai looking strong on this defense so far. Pretty good use of their ult economy too. I mean, they've got a lot of value out of that pulse bomb, and otherwise that's just the pulse bomb and the Deadeye that they've used. Surefour now switching again, going on to the Genji.
I was gonna say, you gotta make a change if you're Gladiators, and Surefour is doing just that. Swapping to the Genji. You're looking for another pulse bomb. He may find it. Fissure zoning him out a little bit. Gotta be careful here. Shanghai with a lot of ultimates. If they can play efficiently, they can hold. That's another pulse bomb. Oh, Fissure pops that primal rage to stay alive. MG goes down. Shaz soon to follow, though. Kills on each side as we start this fight off. Fissure needs some healing pretty bad. Gets into the back lines. They're going to use the res onto Shaz to bring it back up again. Meanwhile, MG brought back up by the Shanghai Dragon side. Dead with another Deadeye there. Does Fissure escape? He had like no health. Shaz going down. And Shanghai still holding. That's another Deadeye. Very bold.
Nice
he
shot
gets
at the
Fissure
end.
anyway, yeah.
He waited. He knew that DMEC was already in process for Bishu.
Well, now down to a minute remaining. Gladiators, desperation mode for these guys on this map. Everything was going their way, but suddenly, Route 66, all Dragons so far, and this is turning out to be a pretty strong hold by the Dragons.
Yeah, I like it, even though that they're down in this series, they haven't lost their verve. They're still attacking as much as they can and trying to make plays, and they are really being successful.
Got the Transcendence out of Shaz.
Yeah, got the trance out of Shaz, and now we're down to 18 seconds remaining. Surefour sitting on a Dragon Blade. He's going to have to be a pro with it now.
Well, Dia's been a plague in the back lines for the Gladiators right now, but Shaz finally, he's had enough of it. He gets the kill. That's not going to be something that Shanghai can res, I don't think. Now Surefour, a big Dragon Blade, can win the point. He's just got to wait out the Transcendence. Roshan dives into the back to pick up Shaz again. Another kill. Here comes the Dragon Blade. Free feel nearly going down instantly. There goes Undead. So Surefour trying to push this, trying to buy his team a bit more time. Maybe they've got it. Now the sound barrier comes in. Shanghai trying to stay alive. Free feel over in the Moira to get back to the point in a hurry. Deadeye used.
Asher
Undead
takes
down.
him out.
That's right. Couldn't pull the trigger on the Deadeye. There goes MG. So the last fight goes the way of the Gladiators, and they look like they're going to be able to claim point A, get a bit more time in the time bank.
They had nearly a full hold. Free Feel and Altering stacked their support ultimates, the Valkyrie and the Sound Barrier, and that gave Surefour an opportunity to use the Dragon Blade.
Yep.
So a bit of a misplay right there. Asher.
One clip.
Just one clips him before he can turn and get the Tracer in his sights.
That's right. So now another couple minutes for the Gladiators to work with here, and they've got momentum now as we move on to point B.
They have momentum, but not very much time. It's a long point to make it through point B on Route 66, and Shanghai continues just to stall out and play aggressively on the payload.
Well, it's been working out for them really well here, so why stop now? He's going to go ahead and stick Roshan in that Primal Rage. Roshan gets the kill into Asher anyway before finally going down to Big Goose. Shanghai, again, this aggressive defense. It worked on point A. The respawns, though, a little bit closer for Gladiators for the moment.
And now they're going to force Shanghai back. So Valkyrie has been used. They can't get into a position to resurrect at the moment. Free Feel vulnerable on that high ground. Does get saved courtesy of the Valkyrie. Roshan going to jump right back in.
Well, it's been all about trying to find Dia in the back line. Sound barrier used as Gladiators going to fight this one. Surefour equipped with that tac visor. Asher finds another great kill onto Roshan here. And now is starting to go Gladiators' way a bit more. Surefour taking the high ground, setting himself up for that ultimate.
I mean, two Deadeyes there, though. The shield was blown up by a pulse bomb, actually, from the side of Dia, and that opened up the Deadeye line of sight.
You know, enough people were down on the side of Shanghai, though, that even with that good ultimate coming in for Dia, that's not something that they were able to turn into a stop.
I mean, they are going to have another chance to contest this payload in a full 6v6, though, and they have forced the Gladiators to pay for every inch of the payload in point B.
True. Shanghai knows it. 30 seconds remaining. Surefour needs to be very careful on this high ground. Roshan falls early again. That's not the start that Shanghai wanted. Self-destruct comes in. Tac visor uses as there's no more defensive matrix here. They're going to get it to point B. Shanghai barely even able to contest.
Asher gets hit by
Undead.
Oh, and that's going to be the Mercy falling too. So Asher flashbang, but Surefour hot on Asher's heels, piles through the doorway and grabs 2 kills. So high ground available for his use now. Minute and a half left. Fissure moves to the Reinhardt. Bishu to the Zarya.
Now, any team would struggle to take point C with just a minute 30 left on the clock going into it. Ooh, did that stick? I don't think so. That free feels still a little bit low anyway, getting the heals on the Mercy. Asher going for a heroic effort, but not making it work. Transcendence, oh, goodbye MG. Roshan down again. And Gladiators grinding this one out so far. The payload is moving. Shanghai with just a few ultimates remaining.
I mean,
try to defend this one.
Reveal's coming out with a trance, but Dia dying late is huge now.
Yeah, that's right.
So they have to wait just a little bit longer. Looks like they're going to fight it right at the very end.
And if Gladiators finish this map now, that would be crazy. They've nearly got it there. This is the final defense for Shanghai, the last stand. And they get a kill on Fissure. The sound barrier from Big Goose is late. Shanghai, can they steamroll this into a team fight win? Yeah, Bishu goes down. So with 25 seconds left, Gladiators looking at
that's a huge kill though. Asher gets it late. He doesn't die. So that means they're not going to get as badly staggered. So, and they move in the resurrection attempt. That's going to be a pulse. That's a big punish.
He was ready. MG taken out. Gladiators back on the point again with just about 5 seconds left. And now Surefour, TechVisor. Oh, he can get altering. Yeah, he does. He gets him. And Roshan down again. Shaz taken out, but that Mercy being out of the way is so big. And will they get it there? It's just MG between Gladiators and 3 points. And that is it. Somehow, some way, overtime on point A turns in to a map completion for the Gladiators.
3 overtime takes, but when you look at how that fight went down, trying to resurrect Dia there, MG really wanted to come in and try and help protect the Mercy on the Zarya, but dying there instead of just letting Dia resurrect its spawn may have been the difference between victory and defeat right there, or at least completion of the point for the Shanghai Dragons defense.
Yeah, you put the shield on altering, but then Asher's like, all right, well, just stick the pulse bomb to Zarya, I guess.
I just don't see the value there. Dia was going to come up soon enough, and you put yourself, Rahad, in a very on a very dangerous scenario, so.
Right. Well, it's got to be rough for Shanghai to nearly get that point A stop with what was a very good defense initially, and then kind of have things fall apart a little bit.
I mean, there were 3 overtime points taken by the Gladiators.
Yeah. You don't see that happen very often, especially point C on this map. That one almost always gets held. Oh, it's high noon on that clock. What do you know? Hey, look at that. It is high noon. Huh.
Undead's right for once.
Yep.
On that McCree, he knows what time it is. It's high noon. I suppose it's high noon for every McCree.
Right.
On Route 66. So we'll be Surefour on the Sombra. So more of a standard defense, except for Big Goose wanting to play Moira. So
interesting.
Yeah, they're gonna play the low ground, try and clump up with the rest of the team and just dive straight in there when the EMP goes off.
True enough. Apparently there was an ATM at Big Girls, but in the I think in the future everyone just trades an Overwatch League token, so you don't really need that anymore.
The currency of the future.
That's right. Here we go, Gladiators on the defense now. Shanghai needs to finish the attack map if they want to have a chance at winning this map and coming home with something here.
Dia already creeping around the far side. Surefour poking in. Now, Undead knows what he's up to, already on the McCree, trying to find him with that flashbang. Surefour will get out. Dia still harassing him. Yep. The backside, Dia actually causing a lot of chaos in the line, in the support line right now.
As he did when they were on defense as well. And Dion Tracer has been very good combination.
That translocator at the last moment to get away from the flashbang.
Shaz, oh, there we go. You gotta watch out, man. Shaz, one of the deadliest Zenyatas out there in the Overwatch League. Shanghai stalled out just a bit here.
I mean, Surefour still has the EMP. He's been holding on to that for a few seconds, trying to make sure that they absolutely need it.
Yep, Shaz gets the healing from Moira. And again, takes out another DPS.
Now Shanghai going to be coming back, having to play into the EMP this time. Big Goose doing a little bit of scouting around the corner, trying to make sure that there haven't been any compositional changes from the Shanghai Dragons. Take a look at their approach, and not going to find anything too interesting.
You really got to be careful poking like that with Moira, because you've only got the healing orb to kind of heal yourself there. So if you take a lot of damage, it gets very dangerous.
Here we go.
Oh, big EMP coming in for
stunned.
Surefour. He got back though, able to make it out, but where's the follow-up from the Gladiators?
I mean, he got
nobody there.
He got flashbangs, so he
Yeah.
couldn't actually stay in that fight. He wanted to assassinate the Zenyatta, but great reactions from Undead.
Yeah, they get Roshan anyway at the end. Oh, Undead gets roasted by the Coalescence though. And apparently you just don't need the EMP. Gladiators go in after the fact and clean this fight up.
That still could have been a disaster for the Gladiators. That was way too aggressive from the Sombra of Surefour. Getting cocky, trying to just get in and out with the Zen assassination. He comes back with 4 HP.
Yeah.
Rest of his team gets saved. Undead tries for the high noon on the high ground and gets lasered by the Coalescence. Can't move out of the way fast enough to avoid that damage.
That's right. Fissure still with that Primal Rage 2, and Undead finds Asher. Okay, 6v5 as we come into it. Undead taking off a Bishu though, evening things up again. Zenyatta ultimates all over the place. Fissure waiting for a chance to use that Primal Rage. Oh, nice jump onto Altering as he tried to escape. Pull supports down. Meanwhile, kills coming back in. Dia finds Big Goose. Supports dropping like flies here, and there's the Primal Rage. Goodbye, Undead. Not knocked off quite
trip
yet.
around the map right now.
Oh,
Getting
no.
pummeled time and time again, beaten into Big Earls.
Man, that's something that nobody wants.
Getting beaten into Big Earls?
No, doesn't sound good. It's an old rusty building. There's a distinct chance of tetanus if you hit any of those sharp edges.
Hopefully he's had his shots still. Hopefully
That's right.
he's had his shots.
I think so. I don't know. He's lived a life as sort of a ruffian, that McCree, so not so sure.
I'm sure he takes care of his vaccinations.
Perhaps. Healthcare is great in the future, even for the Deathlock gang. Oh, Asher just gets D as he goes by. There's the D-Mech onto MG. And that push kind of stuffed before it began. 25 seconds left now for Shanghai Dragons. They got to get something going. Gladiators got something going on their last desperation push. The Dragons need to do the same right now.
And here's the desperation window for Dia. They know they have to get the picks. If they're going to make this work at all, they're aware that the EMB is going to be available again. Maybe they can punish that. Coming in, Translocator.
Oh boy.
He moved over, so they don't know he's there.
No. I think Dia found him though. Self-destruct coming in. They find Dia with the self-destruct. Undead down as well. We're into overtime now. Dia brought back up with the res, but there's the Transcendence for the Gladiators. They've got Zen keeping him safe. Surefour with another big EMP. He's going to use it to help finish off Refill, and everybody pretty much down. Widow can't push the payload by herself. And that will be the LA Gladiators getting a 4-0 here against the Shanghai Dragons.
Looking strong again. 4-0 over the Shock last week, 4-0 tonight over the Shanghai Dragons. So picking up some valuable maps here as we head into stage 2.
That was a particularly rough match for the Dragons. They actually haven't gone down 0-4 yet this stage. Able to at least get a tie or a win in their other ones, but today it was all Gladiators, and that coordination that we wondered about, again, it seems to really be coming through with Fissure.
But on the side of the Dragons, they looked more poised and aggressive on their initial defense, and it was after they had lost the match too. I wonder if they're the pressure is getting to these guys a little bit, because I like that they were playing with a bit more oomph on Route 66, and that was after the match had already gone the way of the Gladiators, so less pressure on them to perform, and they came out, I think, looking better, nearly getting that full hold. So
yeah, I mean, D was just going crazy on that Tracer on Route 66 on that defense, and if they would have gotten that full hold that they were so close to getting, that could have been a map that went in their favor.
Yeah,
that's right. So the Gladiators off to a very strong start here in stage 2, the Fissure pickup. Certainly coming through, but as they move forward, as they get to some stronger opponents, it's going to be really interesting to see if they can kind of keep that momentum going. We've got Zoe down on the floor with Bishu for a little post-game interview. Let's see what he's got to say.
Thank you so much, Dory. I have Bishu now joining me. Please give it up for that young sir joining me for a quick word. Congratulations to you and your team, a dominant performance over the Dragon. Now, we talked about Fissure over and over again on the desk, but let's hear it from the guy himself. How did the team, and specifically you as the other tank, have to adjust your play style to play with Fissure?
Fisher is like quite an aggressive tank, so it took me a bit to get adjusted to him, especially on top of like the translating and everything. But I really like his fast play style, and I think like the team's been it's been helping the team greatly.
So how difficult is it for you to actually translate, and how much translation is needed during the actual games?
To be honest, it's like quite a bit. Before, where I had to like translate just for Asher, he's like a DPS, especially a tracer, so he's more self-sufficient more than anything. But since like if anything, like everyone needs to be on the same page as the main tank, so it's like a lot more translation. So sometimes, like especially like the first like week or two, I was having like a hard time kind of adjusting, like trying to like find where I am and then translating, and I kind of get lost. But it's been coming along pretty well, I think.
Well, if it helps you, it's not showing at all. You guys are looking incredible strong in your tank department. Next up, you're going to play against the Seoul Dynasty. And how do you think iRemix, you yourself, and Fisher are matching up or stacking up against their tank department?
I mean, we've been like preparing a lot for this upcoming matchup, so I'm more than confident than anything.
All right, that's what we want to hear from those guys. Good luck in your game against the Seoul Dynasty. We're now heading over to the lovely guys on our desk to break down the action between the Gladiators and the Shanghai Dragons.
Thank you so much. So we'll keep your seat warm for you a little bit later. Gladiators walking away with the victory right now, and let's talk about how they got it done. And I want to start here with the tank play. We hyped up Fisher a lot. What is Bishu doing for this squad throughout these games?
Well, he's translating, which is a really tough thing to do. You're talking back and forth between two players, and I think we were talking to some members of the Los Angeles staff and saying how much better Asher looks now that you have more people communicating in his language, facilitating things for him to shine. So now the DPS department all of a sudden gets better when tanks get involved.
And I think you'll also notice a little bit more aggression as we run the highlights from games 3 and 4. You'll notice it's the Gladiators taking the fight to the Shanghai Dragons throughout. And when the Dragons try to attack, it feels like they're always fighting a 5v6. They drop a man so early.
Yeah, it's a reoccurring theme. I mean, I'm not going to harp on too much about the problems of Shanghai Dragons because we really do talk about it to death. And these guys, they are human beings at the end of the day. Really, I just want to point out how well Gladiators are playing as a team. The entire squad, it seems like you mentioned, Crumbs, Fisher comes into the mix. You've suddenly got one more Korean player, and Asher's suddenly starting to perform a lot better as well because of the new environment that he's in. But across the board, I was saying from the get-go, this is a team with potential, the Los Angeles Gladiators. With the talent they've got on the roster, a lot of people might have scoffed at me, but I feel like a lot of people are going to be very surprised in the coming weeks with the games that we're going to be seeing, especially with how confident they are against Seoul.
Yeah, the fact that they are mentioning that they've prepared for Seoul more than anybody else means that they probably looked a little bit past this match. It didn't show too much, right? You still got the 4-0, not a big deal. And if you can put all your eggs in that Seoul basket, the match against Seoul from Dallas was close. The match from Dallas to Gladiators was close. It wouldn't be far-fetched to say that Gladiators can take Seoul.
As we take a look at some of these highlights from the Gladiator side of things, I want to ask Bren, you picked the Dragons today to win this series. What concerns did you have in the Gladiators play that may have been shored up?
So it's hard to tell because it was such a one-sided affair. But in general, if they can hone out and sort out their communication sort of, I don't want to say issues again because they're not actually losing games, right? So they're not really, I can't really tell if they are issues or not with it, but I mean, from the interview with Bishu at least, we know that Bishu's got a lot on his plate in terms of the translation. He's sort of single-handedly sort of trying to communicate and bridge the gap between one side of his team and the other. As soon as that gets sharpened up, right, and Fisher starts to learn a bit more English, I mean, I've said it, this team is going to be very scary in the near future. I mean, these teams, they got to watch out. Much like Philadelphia Fusion has kind of sort of come out of nowhere as another sort of contender to be the very top team, I feel like Gladiators is next on that list.
I like that. I like the picks there, and it's time to choose one more. It's our player of the match, sponsored by Omen by HP. Out of his 3 matches, Fisher takes home 2 honors of our player of the match. Here he is, getting the nano boost, just showing you that his supports are back in the man up. But when you looked at the initiations, it's the main tank leading the charge. He showed off his Orisa for a short period on Nepal as well. What makes this man so great? Why is he such a great asset for the squad, Crumbs?
I think the fact that this guy is already coming from a top team, obviously he was on the team that literally won Stage 1 playoff, you're bringing in a wealth of knowledge, a wealth of ability to prepare, to think about the game, leadership. You have so many qualities from a top team that has already shown success that you just plug and play into the Gladiators and you're already destined to at least try to mimic it. You might not be able to surpass it, but you can get to that level, and that's what I think Bren is looking at the Gladiators as a team that can hit the top.
Fissure making his whole team better. You can see it as it played out today, as well as our standings. As we take a look at some of the numbers here, you'll notice it's not only the Philadelphia Fusion that's impressing. Seoul Dynasty now at the top of the list at +8. The Gladiators stay in the positive. And look at this number. It is a +6. The question I have for you guys is how much further can they go? As you look at the overall, Gladiators are behind Seoul. They're behind the Valiant. They're behind London. 3 wins here could catch you up on the big list.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, across the board, you're looking at these sort of standings, and honestly, anything can change. We've only really been through the 1 stage. We've still got basically 3 more stages to go. You know, this is a real mix-up here. Teams are going to start to, you know, chop and change. We are on for an incredible season of Overwatch.
Absolutely, and it continues tomorrow starting at 4 p.m. What's the must-watch match here?
You absolutely have to watch the Outlaws taking on the Fusion. This match, I mean, if Fusion wins this, they're basically like the best team in the league. If Outlaws wins this, it's the same thing. This is actually a battle to determine who has the right to say, we're at the top, come fight us.
Can I get this quote on Reddit tonight? If Philadelphia wins this next match
if they
against Houston.
If they 4-0 Houston, they're the best team in the league.
All right, that's not what he said on the desk while the games were playing. I like the safe exit. That is going to do it for today's show. Make sure you join us tomorrow, though, especially that middle match. It's going to be insane. Have a great night. Thanks for watching. We'll see you soon.